All right, let's dive headfirst into a massive thought experiment today. We're going on a speculative journey that asks a pretty wild question. What would happen if our entire world just stopped, and then, thousands of years later, started all over again with just one single person?
And the inspiration for this whole thing, it comes from this one really powerful question. A scenario that might remind you of stories like the anime Dr. Stone. It sets an absolutely incredible stage for us. What if every human was turned to stone, and just one person woke up 10,000 years into the future?
So first things first, let's set the scene. We're going to start with a moment we're calling the stone sleep. Just imagine, out of nowhere, some unexplained phenomenon sweeps across the entire globe, and instantly, every single human being is turned into stone.
I mean, really think about that for a second. This isn't some slow decline. It's a sudden, silent pause. One moment you've got nearly 8 billion people working, driving, talking, laughing, and the very next, they're all statues. An entire, loud, messy, complex civilization just frozen in a single silent instant. But you know, this isn't the end of the story. Not at all. It's actually the beginning of a totally new one. Because after an almost unimaginable amount of time has passed, one person breaks free. They awaken.
Let's just sit with that number for a moment. 10,000 years. That is roughly double the length of all of recorded human history. You know, the Great Pyramids of Giza? They're less than half that old. That is the massive, empty chasm of time that now separates our lone survivor from every single person and everything they ever knew.
So, what even happens during all that time? Well, let's look at this timeline. In the very first year, a great silence falls as the constant hum of our machinery just dies. Can you even imagine that sudden quiet? By year 100, our proudest achievements, bridges, skyscrapers, they start to crumble. Fast forward 1,000 years, and huge forests have swallowed what used to be major cities. And then, right at the 10,000-year mark, our story finally begins again, with the awakening.
Okay, so the stone cracks away, our survivor takes their first breath in 10 millennia. What kind of world do they even find? Let's take a look at this bizarre new environment.
Let's really try to put ourselves in their shoes. Think about it through their senses. What's the very first thing they would see or hear? I mean, the sensory experience would be completely, totally alien to anyone from our time.
So this new world is a profound transformation. Our cities wouldn't just be ruins. They'd be these green, living mountains, literal urban jungles. The air and water, probably cleaner than they've been in a million years. You'd see wildlife who've had millennia to forget about us, just roaming freely down what used to be a major highway. And the sound? Well, there's just wind, animals, and this deep, profound silence. Oh, and at night, the sky would be just an explosion of stars, completely free of all the light pollution that washes out our view today.
But even after all that time, humanity wouldn't be completely gone. The world our survivor wakes up in is actually filled with echoes of our past, an entire civilization literally cast in stone.
Right? Our impact on this planet is just way too deep to simply vanish. The world would be like a museum of a lost species, and our survivor, they're its only visitor. And of course, they would be surrounded everywhere by the silent stone figures of everyone who ever lived. Chilling.
This really highlights the brutal shift in reality, doesn't it? Our survivor comes from a world of billions, a world defined by instant communication and global networks. And they wake up to a world of one, governed only by the sun, the seasons, and the basic, primal need to survive. The psychological whiplash from that would be, well, unimaginable.
So our survivor basically becomes an archaeologist of their own lost era. All the things we take for granted, plastics, stainless steel, reinforced concrete, those would now be these strange geological curiosities. They're what you could call Anthropocene relics, the fossils of our age, just silent monuments to everything we once built.
And this brings us past the initial shock, past exploring this new world. It brings us to the most important question of all. What now? Is this the dawn of a whole new humanity?
So I'm going to ask you, after you've taken in this strange, beautiful, and terrifying new world, what is the very first thing you do? What becomes your single most important priority when you are literally the last person alive? I think the challenges would come in waves. The first steps are pure survival, right? Find shelter, find clean water. Next, you got to figure out the world around you. What are the new dangers? Have predators changed? But after that, the mission gets way more profound. You'd probably search for a past, try to understand what was lost, maybe even find other survivors. And all that leads to the final monumental task, to forge a future, to decide what humanity becomes next.
And this, right here, this is the real core of the whole thought experiment. The challenge isn't just about staying alive. Our survivor is the sole heir to humanity's entire legacy. Think about it. They hold all of our art, our science, our history, just in their memory. The sheer weight of deciding what to do with all that knowledge, that's the ultimate challenge.
So, we're going to leave you with this final thought to carry with you. Because look, it's one thing to survive, but it's a completely different thing to rebuild with purpose. If you were the single seed from which a new humanity could grow, what knowledge, what values, what warnings from our time would you choose to plant? What would you do differently?